Wideck welcoming you to another replay, this time on Derelict Watcher. And excuse me there, it sounded like I had a frog on my throat. And as an off-topic tangent, if you have eaten frogs before, they kind of taste like chicken. Anyways, in the bottom left, spawning as a red Protoss, we've got JaypowerGS and his opponent from Team Empire, spawning as the blue Terran in the top right. We've got Kas. And Kas is doing something that's a little bit different. He's putting his supply depot actually behind his main mineral line. Most Terrans do want to put the supply depot here, blocking off a part of the ramp, and then they'll add on to the ramp, adding on barracks or command centers to stop any scouting or early game harass. And because he's put the supply depot so close to his command center, it's not that much of a surprise that he's going to have his barracks very close to his command center as well. And he's going for the early refinery. And this usually indicates some sort of early game aggression. He might be going for Reapers, and it might have been better to have the barracks actually here at the ramp with the supply depot blocking it off if he is going Reapers, because then the Reapers don't have to jet over this extra amount of territory to get to your enemy's base. And every second counts in this game. So I'll be very interested to know what he's going to be building from this barracks. J-Power hasn't built a hatchery yet. And there is no Reaper coming out of that barracks yet. And there we go. There is the Reaper. I said hatchery for J-Power, so obviously he's not Zerg. I don't know what I was thinking. I just said something that came to my mind. At least it was StarCraft 2 related. At least I wasn't talking about frogs again. So the Reaper is going to come out of this barracks very quickly. It'll take another few seconds to cross this amount of space in theory, because the barracks wasn't built here. And the first Zealot is going to come across and is going to be scouting. Interesting. Not sending out a probe to scout. A lot of Protoss players want to send a probe out to scout. One, because it's an earlier unit they have, so they can scout earlier. Two, they have much more speed. They're faster than the Zealot. And this is the thing I was talking about. Now the Zealot is caught in no man's land. This Reaper is going to be able to kite forever. So with great control from Kas, the Zealot is in a lot of trouble because he's not going to be able to escape. Eventually, he's just going to get sent to ire. And now with the second Zealot joining, he has to be very leery. Doesn't want to let Kas to know that the Zealot is there, and the Zealot was able to avoid detection. The bunker will be up by the time the second Zealot arrives. And the Stalker is out now. And I guess that's one of the trade-offs for Kas. By picking off that Zealot and picking off 100 resources of your opponent is important. And actually losing that Reaper due to not great micro is very bad for Kas, because he could have used that Reaper for scouting later on. And now with the Stalker and the Mothership Core just outside Kas's natural, and with the Zealot inside the main, might be able to distract Kas enough to put some pressure on that bunker. And the Stalker is going to try to go up the ramp, but with 4 Marines, this Stalker is not seeing a very good day. He's just seeing lots of bullets, and now he's been destroyed. So, resources lost. Kas has once again jumped out ahead. And J-Power has to be careful here. He's sending in the Stalker again, another Stalker, just to be fed to the Marines. I'm not sure if that's just bad control or he's just thinking it might work. At least his second Nexus is almost up. He's also got a robotics facility and forge up behind this. Kas does have a lot of Marines, but nothing else. He's researching STIM, and he's pumping out a lot of Marines out of that barracks with that reactor. Reactors are just so good. +1 armor is being researched by J-Power, so J-Power will have the upgrade advantage. And the Marines are going to push out for Kas, able to scare away that Stalker and Mothership Core. And he's going to send out that one damaged and lone Marine to do some scouting. And I like this scouting by Kas, you know, just sending one unit out there, trying to figure out if there's some ninja expansions or proxy pylons. It's always a good idea. And sometimes, even in high-level pro games by the best players in the world, they forget to just scout. At a low cost of 50 minerals, you can send an SCV or a Marine out just to do some scouting. And if you lose it, you lose 50 minerals. But if you do find something, it can totally change the game. Unfortunately for this Marine, he's going to be made an example of, and he is quickly dispatched by the Mothership Core. And now J-Power has an observer that is going to be making his way across the map. And I find it interesting that both players did not, or neither player went for double upgrades. So there is no double engineering bay for Kas, and there is no double forge for J-Power, so they'll be stuck on just one upgrading building. And the observer is able to see everything that's going on in Kas's base. Kas is going to be pumping out those medevacs like crazy now. And with the Twilight Council down, it looks like it's going to be a strong Templar build that's going to be coming out of J-Power. And that's kind of one of those things that Terran needs to do. They need to scout out what's going on in the Protoss base. If you take a look at Kas's vision, he's not able to see anything other than the expansion nexus. And that was a few minutes into the game. He's going to be pushing out now. And that's not a bad idea. The timing is a little bit early to have Templars out. Zealot Charge is being researched. That's a very good upgrade for Zealots. It becomes so much more useful, especially for especially against stimmed Marines and Marauders. Zealot Charge is essential for them being very useful to just get up to the front lines, absorb hits, and actually get some attacks on. Otherwise, they just get eaten up under those hail of bullets. And this lone probe is going to try and do something, but it's destroyed immediately. Kas is checking out the third, finds out nothing is there. And J-Power only has a couple Immortals and some gateway units against this large group of Bio. This will be difficult for J-Power to hold off. He's able to pick off the Zealot. The first Immortal goes down. The second one is being focused down on, and that one is going to survive. It's in the red. Actually, the other Immortal dies first, but one Immortal is still here. The Nexus Cannon is doing significant damage. The Mothership Core finally is destroyed. And now Kas thinks he's done enough damage. He's going to boost away. So, great engagement by Kas. Able to see that there wasn't that much protecting the natural. And all those Immortals, they're so very expensive. And Immortals are very good against Marauders, but they're not that good against Marines. And Kas is now expanding to his third. He's building more production facilities. And J-Power is now morphing into Archons. But he's not researching Psionic Storm. Kas is going in for another engagement here. Kiting, destroying one Archon. The second Archon is doing significant damage because he has extra damage against Bio. But Kas is just kiting all day, and he's going to pick up the remaining force and just ladder up to the higher elevation. At the same time, there's still a smaller group here of Marines and Marauders able to pick off that one last Immortal, actually the second last Immortal. And now the drop is coming back in with a Fury into the natural J-Power. The Marines and Marauders focusing down on these Zealots and Probes. And unfortunately, J-Power's army is in the middle of the map, and now J-Power is just going to move out. Looks like he's given up on protecting his natural. The feedbacks go down on the medevacs. The medevacs are still alive, but now they cannot heal. But it looks like J-Power's under a lot of pressure here. He's in a lot of trouble. The Probes aren't mining. And with 3 bases for Kas, it's going to be almost impossible for J-Power to win this economically. So he's just going to push in here. He's going to try and deal the death blow to Kas, but he's got a bunker and lots of stim marauders behind this. Jaypower says GG, so Jaypower was not able to fend off this drop, and his army was already near the middle of the map, and he just said, screw it, I'm gonna go for the counterattack. But at that time, his supplies was already significantly below Kas, and Kas just stayed in there. Once he had that one very healthy engagement, he knew he was ahead, and he just put his foot on the gas and just kept building units and kept expanding, and Jaypower wasn't able to do much about it. So good game. Kas is the victor, and I'll see you guys next time.